Good evening, wrestling fans. Welcome back to another edition of Evolution of Pro Wrestling. Today we're going to have a unique individual coming onto our show. He is a member of the ECPW roster and an extraordinary talent. He's fought numerous talent with his extraordinary skills, his demeanor. They call him the Diligent One, Corey Dillenger. We're going to welcome him into the show in a few moments. Let's just add him on. Alright, we just sent the invite to him, so we're just waiting for him to come on the show. And in the meantime, while we're waiting for him to plug in, we just wanted to announce fans that, again, normally we would have our show on Fridays at 8 p.m., but we're actually going to have a special day this time. We're going to go this Sunday, live, July 28th, at 8 p.m. We're going to be going live from our podcast. We're going to do a special day. And I believe we're going to have our co-host coming in. And I believe Mr. Dillinger has actually arrived now. Let's add him into the mix. It's going to be an honor to interview this man. See what he done. We're going to talk about his career and in and out of the ring. So let's see how that's going to work out. And we're super excited to hear what he has to say. Mr. Dillinger, the Diligent One from ECPW. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No, absolutely. First off, sir, we've seen you in ECPW. We've seen you fight the likes of Frankie Flo, Zombie King, Aaron Bradley. The list goes on and on. Tell us how you got into that organization. What started your career?
Well, before I was involved in this world, I was an athlete playing collegiate and college basketball. Managed to play 1 year semi-pro. Oh, sorry about that. People are still disturbed. They don't know what's going on. Anyway, sorry about that. I played basketball for all my life. I was always known as the deceitful big man. You would just think I'm a big dude. I can't move, but I'm very quick on my feet and in my hands, and I have a boxing background. So when that chapter closed, somebody came to me and said, "Hey, you ever thought about doing professional wrestling?" I personally said, as a kid, but again, not now. And then somebody gave me the address for East Coast Professional Wrestling, and I stepped in one day and said, "You know what? I'll give it a shot. I'll do it." And I haven't looked back since.
That's awesome. I've actually seen a few of your matches. I see you on Awesome TV every Tuesday night, 9:30. You put on a great show.
Appreciate it.
You've won the television title as well. Who inspired you to become a wrestler? Who did you watch growing up in professional wrestling?
Wow. My list as a kid, it was very generic like everybody else, like Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage. But when I got a little older, I started appreciating the other pieces of wrestling, like Big Boss Man, Mr. Perfect, Ted DiBiase, IRS, Virgil. Like I was really big into the '90s era as a young kid, and then all of a sudden when the Attitude Era came in, it carried it over and made it more legitimate to me to be convinced, hey, you know what, I can do it. But in the town that I live in, you either go and play basketball or football. There was no really wrestling promoted in my town, so it was still just fading in the back of memory. But those are the guys that made me still love wrestling when I was a child.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I know exactly what you're talking about because I grew up watching wrestling. I'm an 80s baby. I've been a fan since I was 5, so I'm 37 now. I've seen all Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, all these guys. So that's a good inspiration to, for you to see that. As a professional wrestler, what do you do to stay fit in the ring? Because I know you guys take a lot of bumps, take a lot of bruises and the hits. Whoever says these hits are fake, they're irrelevant. You guys take hard hits. So what do you do in the gym? Do you work out? Do you do a certain regimen to stay fit and stay in shape?
Well, I'm actually in the transition of breaking a 300-pound mold. A lot of people don't think I look like I'm 300, but I actually am. But prior to preparing myself for matches, I utilize my boxing background. So a lot of times I'll spar with one of my friends that I know at the Gladiator gym, and sometimes we'll put headgear, sometimes we don't. All we tell each other is body shots are free. So that's the rule. We always try to give each other body shots so I can take shots in the stomach. Of course that we got gloves on, but it's way more prepared. So I take one without gloves. Also, of course, our wrestling training is very, very challenging, very rigorous. So I get trained for that, and then also when I'm in my time, I do a lot of powerlifting, and once in a while I have a friend who does Muay Thai. So once in a blue, when I feel froggy, I say, you know what? I'll do clean press, and he'll kick me in the stomach. Not full speed, but just the point where you feel when I'm at full tense. So I have a lot that I do, but of course it's spread throughout the week. But that's usually my regimen.
That's good. That's definitely a good way to stay fit. Getting body shots. Pretty much you can handle anything if you're taking kicks and punches to the stomach. That takes a lot of guts and a lot of power to
Yeah.
withstand.
Now,
So
but mind you, the kicks exercise, I just start doing that within 2 weeks ago. So like my body is still feeling it. It's gonna take some time for me to get used to it.
still transcending into it. No, I completely
Exactly.
understand. I always ask my talent that comes onto the show this question. I'm gonna ask you the same question. If you, the Dillinger one, had a chance right now to have a dream match with anyone in the wrestling business, whether it's independent, WWE, AEW, who would it be?
That is so simple. That is such a simple question. And a lot of people gonna be shocked when I say this. If I had ain't no if, it's when. If this guy does not retire by the time this happens, it's gonna be when. I would love to have my dream match with Jay Lethal. The funny part is, interesting part is, there's a little history. While I was playing college basketball, I actually was playing college basketball with his brother, and this is when I saw Impact for the first time. And I saw him, and they said Jay Lethal from Elizabeth, New Jersey. I was like, holy shit, they got a guy from New Jersey playing on TV. I think that's be possible. So the next day, I go to my to his brother, and I say, "Hey, man, you know what? If for some reason, and that's one thing I love about like how things work in the play. I said, for some reason, if I don't make it in basketball, if I can, I'm gonna try professional wrestling because that's like something I always wanted to do." And I explained about the guy that I saw and all that stuff. And he said, first thing he said was, "You know that's my brother, right?" And as soon as you said that, both faces just flash back and forth, and I was like, "Holy shit!" So one of my main things was to actually first goal was to meet him in person and network with him. I got to do that at Ace Pro Wrestling within my first year of training, which I was very grateful for. And then now I'm working on getting with ROH so I can actually work within the company and then hopefully have that one match with him, or at least the first one.
Sounds good, man. I've seen Jay Lethal in many organizations. The man he's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal talent. I would pay to see the match. Definitely bring him into ECPW, or you go vice versa to his backyard.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it happens. And we mentioning about the dream match. This also goes into this next question. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now in this industry?
In this industry, I see myself living way more better than I am now. I'm taking everything a step at a time. But as we all have goals, I would love to see myself maybe at a new location. Like I'm in New Jersey, who knows? I might migrate over to California, or I might migrate to Canada, or better yet, one of my goals also is to go to Europe. I might be staying there for a little bit. But I just want to, wherever I am now, 5 years later, I do not want to repeat it. I want to evolve and I want to be better. So, like, hopefully in 5 years, we'll have this conversation. Instead of you seeing me in my backdrop in the man cave, you might see me in a patio. Or you might see me in the streets of Europe. Who knows? But that's what I'm looking at.
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to make it set in stone, but I just know wherever I am now, go somewhere else.
Sounds good, and we hope you be successful with that. I have one more question before we give you the floor. Have you ever considered trying out for NXT or AEW?
Um, okay, of course, it pondered my mind. But I figured if long as I stay the course that I'm in, somebody's going to see me from somewhere else, and when that door presents itself, that's when I'll make my decision. Of course, that I reached out to people from NXT, man on staff. I reached out to tons of promoters. I reached out to some people I know from AEW about, hey, what would it take to get a look at. But I don't want to dwell on that. I just want to just stick to my path because as long as I'm shining my light bright enough, somebody else from somebody's territory or somebody else's area so to see and say, hey, let's pull this light to them.
Okay, that's couldn't have said it better myself. That's good. I hope um, you get very successful if you do decide to join NXT or AEW. Now, sir, you pretty much have the floor to promote anything you want to, any events, any matches. The floor is yours, sir.
Wow, I didn't expect that. Maybe we should have had this last week. I would have had a whole jam-packed schedule. All right, so guys, not only do I wrestle for ECPW, I also wrestle for companies like UWA Elite. So sorry, first full week of August at the Middlesex County Fair, we're doing a big show all week long for anybody that wants to come down there, see the products, see me, see any other superstars they have there. Also, I will be showing faces at Superstar Pro Wrestling in Pennsylvania, also ACPW in Pennsylvania. I actually did a tryout for Outbreak, and let's just say I'm soon to make Pennsylvania my territory. So every person that's watching this in Pennsylvania, see this face. You don't want to forget it. You don't want to miss it. I'm going to show you why I am the diligent one and why in business I'm also known as Mr. 925.
Excellent words. And I'm sure a lot of people were watching this all over New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, all over the country. Corey Dillinger, the Dillinger one, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, sir. Fans, the ECPW Elite Superstar, Corey Dillinger, thank you again, sir. We appreciate the opportunity you gave us, and we wish you luck on your career and hope, as you said, in 5 years from now, we're having the same conversation in a different area.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. And don't my door's always open if you want to talk later on as well, before 5 years.
Absolutely, absolutely. Have a good night, sir. Thank you again.
Night. Cheers.
Well, there you have it, fans. The Dillinger one. Corey Dillinger, ECPW Elite Superstar, has taken on many talent, and we know he's going to get far. Please feel free to tune in to Evolution of Pro Wrestling every week. We have interviews, shows, podcasts. This is our shirt, Evolution of Pro Wrestling. Join us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, or any topics, please feel free to comment or email us at evolutionofprowrestling@gmail.com. As I mentioned before we go, this Sunday, normally we go on Fridays at 8 p.m. We're actually going live this Sunday with a special time, a special day for our show, as my co-host, Jaden, is actually coming back, and we're going to bring you, again, the greatest, significant, and most amazing and shocking moments in professional wrestling history. From all of us here, fans, from myself, Lewis, and my beautiful wife, producer, and director, Yesenia, thank you for joining us, and thank you for the support. Have a good night.